So how would you define success?
For me, it's not being the biggest or the most popular. It's just being the best that you can be. It sounds so simple, and it can be simple. Being your best. That's how I define success. People say to us all the time, "My gosh, you're so successful." And what goes off in my brain first is they think we're like multimillionaires, which we're not. And then I let that go because that isn't, I don't think really their intention. I think their intention is success is that we've got a great product, we have it beautifully packaged, we have passion for what we're doing, and we have success because we are living a life in a place of authenticity. And to me, that is success.
And you're attracting effortlessly
Absolutely.
a lot of things.
Yes. My definition of success, same as Terry, is being the best micro-frontier that I can possibly be. In addition to that, I want to live like I'm on vacation. Vacation to me is not partying every night. Vacation to me is waking up every morning and the day is mine to do what I want to do and what I'm willing to do. That's success.
So how do we access that success? What are the keys? If we can recap them again. To tap into this intuition, you were saying it's intuition, it's connecting, it's letting spirit co-create with you.
The big secret,
I believe one of the things is meditation. I
Meditation,
really believe meditation.
yeah.
And meditation, a lot of people think you need to light incense and a candle and sit in some uncomfortable position and be like that for hours or whatever.
No.
Meditation happens even when you're driving.
Yeah, insights come all throughout the day in all different shapes, sizes, forms. Could be walking past somebody on the street. Go ahead, I was going to...
Well, Julia's, her book, Walking
Julia
in this,
Cameron.
Julia Cameron, her book, Walking in This World, she talks about, there's an exercise in that book about walking meditation, going for walks. And by doing that, the literal physical action of putting one foot in front of the other and walking has this very repetitive kind of meditative motion to it, and it can allow you to connect with that sense of spirit, that sense of self, and that place of connection. And when you do that, it lightens your spirit, and you begin to connect with who you are. There are times where we all have days that are difficult and challenging, and when I have a bad day, and this is what I do miss about our dogs, is when I would get home, I'd take our dogs on a walk. If I had a rough day or a stressful day, because we are walking in this world, we have to walk through this life where and I'd rather be present and be in the now than to be vacant and missing my life. So our dogs connected me with my life because they had to go out for a walk.
They were in the moment.
Bless their hearts. They had to go for a walk. And that made me let go of all that stuff. It was almost like a walking morning pages.
So being in the present moment is a meditation, whatever we're doing. So when you're making toffee, you're actually meditating, would you say?
Yes. There are many times where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm busy with all kinds of paperwork and phone calls and things, and Cassandra and someone else might be over packaging toffee, which is very repetitive. I'll get up and go and help because it quiets my mind. And it's kind of this rote activity, so I can do that. And for you can talk about the toffee making and how meditative that is.
Well, absolutely. But I wanted to just say something. The big secret for myself is I trust myself. And using Terrys Toffee, people have been so kind to us and offering advice. You should make cookies. You should, and you can fill in the blanks. But they've offered us ideas how we can grow our business, and we smile politely. I think my eyes kind of glaze over, and the truth is that's not what I want to do. And so what I've learned is maybe, maybe when I was younger, 20s, 30s, I'm 47 now, I would probably listen to them in my 20s or my 30s. And in my 40s, I finally realized, I know what's best for Michael. I know what's best for my business. I'm open and receptive to other people's vision as far as sometimes people can offer insights that sometimes you need a little help with. But overall, we intuitively know what's best for ourselves. And I know we keep saying the same thing. This has never been about being the biggest company in the world. It's been about doing the best job that we can possibly do, making our toffee with our biscotti and our ice cream, and still having a life outside of here. And, getting paid while we're doing it, and meeting people and interacting with people. To me, that's my definition of success. It's what I would want to teach somebody. We talked about meditation. A lot of people can't sit in a chair and quiet their mind, and I get that. We live in a society that's overstimulated. I live in a big city. Even when it's what appears to be completely quiet, you have to always remember we have telephone cords, wires going up and down our alleys, and there's lights all throughout our streets. There's that constant, you're constantly being barraged with information and energy. And for some people who will find it difficult to sit in a chair, I happen to live in Chicago, I tell them to go walk by the lake. You can do an active meditation, just to get yourself into a situation where you're not being stimulated. You're listening to the earth. You're listening to what's going on within yourself. If people are having a hard time meditating, what they can do, the simplest thing that they can do is get earplugs. Close their eyes and listen to their breath, or listen to your heartbeat. It's free. You might have to buy your earplugs, but other than that, it's free. And it does help you to go within. And for all of us, that's where all the answers are. I brought this up before. If you have a belief in God, often people pray to God. And what I've been trying to teach people is, instead of going to a God that's outside of you, start praying from the God within you. Because we're all an extension. And it's helping people accept and understand that you're getting these amazing insights. You're getting this amazing information is coming to you and through you. And just like Terry brought Terry's Toffee into the world, no one else could have done this. I'm not saying that there could have not been another toffee company, but Terry's Toffee could only be born through Terry. I was the only one that could make Terry's Toffee when we started it, and where we are today. And it's helping people understand that there are gifts that can only be born through you. And when you stop fighting that, and when you start trusting yourself, that's when things start to happen. How many times has this happened and it's happened to Terry and myself, where you have an idea about something and you don't act on it. And 6 months later, somebody came up with your idea. That information is available to all of us. How they brought it forth might be a little bit different than how you would have brought it forth. But the truth is, these are gifts that are brought to us by Spirit. And,
it's like it's out there, and you pick it or not if you're present to the moment and see the sign.
It could be a quiet voice, it could be a loud booming voice. The voices come in many different levels of sound. And when I moved Michael out of the way and let Spirit come through me, that's when my life completely turned around.
What are the synchronicities that led you to this place right now of having Terry's Toffee, over 80 shops, 90 shops across the U.S., being recognized, Oscars, Donald Trump carrying it, all of that, like really the American dream for a lot of people. What are the synchronicities and the pivotal moment that led you?
There are so many. There really are. It's a simple question with a lot of answers, and I'll try to summarize it.
Yeah.
Starting with the physical location of where we are, I wanted to be close to our home physically with our store. When we decided we wanted to open up a store, it was like okay, we've either got to stop doing this because it's going to take off, and shift gears and do something else, or we have to find a store. So my goal was to find a store, find a location close to our home because of our dogs, because I love them with all my heart, and they were such an amazing, they kept me grounded in the moment, and they taught me what love is and so many things that I couldn't be away from them. So I wanted to be physically close to our home, and I found a space that was within walking distance, and I worked for, I think, 11 months trying to get everything worked out for this space, and kept meeting with resistance all the way. And I kept pushing it, and it blew apart at the last minute, and I thought, well, now what are we going to do? And I got a phone call about the physical space that we're in, which I had looked at briefly. It was just, no, it's too far from home, and I had all these reasons not to take it. I got a phone call from the landlord, and she said, the space is available. Somebody rented it briefly. It's available. We've done some work. We've improved the space. Come and look at it if you're still interested or looking for a space. And I came down, looked at it. The work that was done was a great improvement, and it was within 3 days the lease was signed. It was just easy.
Yeah.
And then I learned a big lesson from that kind of longer story than I meant it to be, but that's when I learned about trying to force things and relax and let things just unfold. And so we opened up our shop, and just a number of things just started happening with a really wonderful flow to them of, you know, continuing to journal, doing my morning pages, listening to my intuition. We were in the Oscars already, but then things started happening. Like, I wanted to be in Whole Foods, and I was making all the calls to, I thought, all the right people, and it just wasn't happening. And about 1.5 years after trying to get into Whole Foods, a woman came in the store, and she was sampling the toffee, and I said, how can I help you? And she said, oh, I really like your toffee. Do you wholesale it? And I said, yes, we do. And she said, would you consider wholesaling to Whole Foods?
Mm-hmm.
I laughed. I said, sure, And we're in, I think, 6 or 7 of the Whole Foods in the Chicago area now. And a similar story with another of our stores, Fox Nobel, had tried to get in there, and it just wasn't happening. They didn't return the phone calls, and so I let go. And a few months later, I got a call from them saying, someone told us about your toffee and that we should carry it, and I'd like you to drop off samples. And that has happened repeatedly, so many times where for our wholesale accounts, they've heard about us or tasted us. I think it's the taste,
Yeah.
it's the reputation of a really good product, beautifully packaged, with a
Done
lot
with
of
love.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Made
With
with
a lot of
love.
positive
It is.
energy.
It really is.
Somebody said to me, your
Absolutely.
grandma's up there stirring the pot. And I believe that. I believe that there are a lot of energies on the other side, or another level, and whatever, that are very involved in this as well. I think all of us have that in our lives, that there are many beings, whether on this physical plane or another plane, that are involved in our lives, wanting us to have our best life.
Absolutely.
And
Spirit
that's
wants
what
us
it-
to succeed
That's what it's all
in
about.
everything that we do.
So, I started to talk a little earlier about, my next creation or whatever. I have got ideas flowing through me left and right that are about helping people. I want to help people to be free to do these things that are really fun and exciting and make you feel alive. I wanted continuity in my life, and this has given me continuity. I don't feel like I'm going to my job and I'm a different person at my job than I am in my personal life. It's all the same, and that is a real gift. And so all of these amazing things, even, Cassandra...
With no business plan. That's what I
Exactly.
love. It's like
There's no
it's really
business plan at all.
opposite to all the rules that you would, or things that you would learn by the book. I mean, it's not, your
Absolutely,
story is
absolutely.
not that.
And you can't do it alone. I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't do it. This is really important. I couldn't do it without Michael. I couldn't do it without Michael's sister and
Yeah.
brother-in-law coming in to help out in production, and Marietta. And I certainly couldn't do it without my assistant Cassandra, who had interviewed for the job in the spring of last year, and we didn't hire her. And about 6 months later, the person who I did hire resigned, and I contacted Cassandra because I had a good feeling about her, and she was available to come in and help out part-time, and that led into full-time, and I'd be lost without her. Well, I wouldn't be lost, but I love her energy and her involvement in the company, and she's fit in, and I can see that she's grown and blossomed because of the company, and
our
so
wish
that's
for everybody that works with us is that they get to experience for themselves what Terry and I have experienced. You know, you don't want to lose anybody because you've built a nice team, and yet we feel very supportive of other people moving into their dreams. And I think I've not asked anybody this, but I think that that's why people are attracted to Terry and myself and to Terry's Toffee, that they're watching us, and you know, it's always in the back of their head, these two guys took a chance, look what they're doing, well then, hey, maybe so can I. It's helping them connect with that.
Yeah.
And also something that I thought was interesting, that when we first started, we had a few stores that carried us in our neighborhood, and this is 7 years later now, and they were very rigid. They were very nice people, yet very rigid with how they were running their business. It was they had the education, nothing wrong with education. They went to school, they had their business plans, they opened up their business, and it's very formulaic. And they're no longer in business. And this is simply my impression that
no judgment.
No judgment, because they gave it a shot, and yet I didn't feel their personalities in the business. It was, like I said, it was just very formulaic, and people connect.
I know
We connect with people.
It felt like they were missing.
They were missing.
It felt like
Yes.
they were missing. And
Yeah,
I think
it's the
that's
easiest way
the
to say
key
it.
is that, you know, we're here. We're physically involved
We
in the
are
business.
hands-on in every aspect of this
Yeah.
business. I think, personally, I'm not that controlling. Professionally, Terry and I are involved in every aspect of the business.
Well, it's like couples counseling. When Elizabeth said to us, "You're either in or you're out."
Correct.
When you connect with that creativity, you're either in or you're out. Staying in, it continues. When you start to step out of it, there's like a roadblock comes up.
Yeah.
So if you're paying attention, it's also the teachings of Abraham, where you know
Abraham and Esther Hicks, let's just remind
you. I
Absolutely.
love their work. Let me
Interestingly
just
enough,
finish
my
this.
synchronicity is that I've got the same beginings as Esther and Jerry Hicks.
Now the Italians
So,
come
so
back.
yeah, no.
But you know, the connection to knowing this is what I want. You start going in that direction, and then things invariably come up that maybe you don't want. So you're moving forward, and then it directs you to, I don't want that. So you move again toward what you do want, and that keeps you moving forward. It's not a linear path. It's this beautiful stepping stone path, as I said earlier to you, Lilu, through a garden.
Yeah.
It's like you're walking through this garden. It's twisting and turning and going up hills and down hills, and this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and you keep moving and moving and moving.
You get clearer with your intention.
And that's when you're in. That's when you're in. That's when you're in.
Yeah.
And I love that. It gives me goosebumps. It makes me feel alive and connected. Like when I came up with all these different flavors of Terry's Toffee, it was literally like being plugged into an outlet. Starting with McCall's Classic, it had to be named in memory of my grandmother. That was her last name, paying homage to her. Most people don't know this, but the reason why our little tagline is "Taste a little piece of heaven" is that's for Michael, because Michael always said to me about what more could you want in life? You've got heaven right here on earth, and I wanted to incorporate Michael into Terry's Toffee at that time. The best way to do it was taste a little piece of heaven. So all the other flavors were like these just great connections. I wanted it to have global, international appeal to people from different cultures and taste, not only taste from the standpoint of your sense of taste, but taste like from a visual perspective. So the packaging, that's why I really love our packaging, because it's so pretty. But La Vanilla is one of my favorites because it's lavender and vanilla, and it's coated in white chocolate, and it's really sensuous, and I love the sensuality of it. So the flavors and the names just all came to me very, very quickly, and well, over a year's time, but to me it seemed very fast. And
Was this Asian Ascent?
Asian accent is ginger and dark chocolate with crushed up wasabi pea on top. It's a really fun, exotic flavor. I love the Chicago spice, paying tribute to our windy city of Chicago. It's in a play on with the word. So Chicago spice is all the chai spices: cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, cardamom, and pepper.
Wow, yummy.
Yeah, the Mazel Toffee has got matzah in it. It's not kosher, but it's a fun flavor for Hanukkah or Yom Kippur. And
the Academy Award mix. You have a special mix here.
yeah, because
That's
we do
fun.
the Oscars every year. We decided to do a mix of our flavors for the Oscars and have it available to our customers here. And we've also received some really great letters from people. I have a little connection to my intuition about sending toffee to people that I appreciate and have done something remarkable. Maria Shriver was on Oprah in 2008, and she was talking about being raised as a Kennedy, and her mother started the Special Olympics and her father started the Peace Corps. So what do you do in a family like that? What are you going to do? And she talked about how it wasn't until she was in her 40s that she let go of that and really stepped into her own life in the now with her children and her husband, and began to feel like herself and letting go of all that expectation of what to do. And I was so touched by her story, sent her toffee, and just as a thank you to her for sharing her story, and received a wonderful note
Wow.
from her. Same thing with this photograph and letter from, this is the former Shah of Iran's wife, who did a documentary in 2009, and it was a documentary filmed by a young Iranian woman who was on the opposite side of the political scene in Iran when her husband was overthrown. And she wanted to do a documentary on her life now, the former queen of Iran. And this documentary was so inspiring about these two women from opposite political points of view, and the honesty and the integrity and their connection to their intuition and their spirit. You could see it in this film. It was just a beautifully done film, and I was so inspired. As soon as we finished watching the film, I got on the internet and just to read about her, and found a website for her and emailed her about how inspired I was by this film. It's called The Queen and I, and told her I'd like to send her some toffee as a thank you for sharing her story. And I totally forgot about it. It was, I think, 3 months later, I got this email from her, and I was shocked. I did not expect to hear from her. I just had forgotten about it. And she said she normally doesn't accept gifts, but because it's based on my grandma's toffee, she would love to have our toffee. So I sent her a big box of all our different flavors, and it arrived on her birthday. She sent me a note
Wow.
thanking me for it, and it had arrived on her birthday, and she was so delighted by it. And I thought it was just there's an exercise in that book about a walking meditation, going for walks, and by doing that, the literal physical action of putting one foot in front of the other and walking has this very repetitive kind of meditative motion to it, and it can allow you to connect with that sense of spirit, that sense of self, and that place of connection. And when you do that, it lightens your spirit, and you begin to connect with who you are.
His definition of success, same as Terry, is being the best micro-frontier that I can possibly be. In addition to that, I want to live like I'm on vacation. Vacation to me is not partying every night. Vacation to me is waking up every morning and the day is mine to do what I want to do and what I'm willing to do. That's success.
So how do we access that success? What are the keys? If we can recap them again. To tap into this intuition, you were saying it's intuition, it's connecting, it's letting spirit co-create with you.
The big secret,
I believe one of the things is meditation. I
Meditation,
really believe meditation. And meditation, a lot of people think you need to light incense and a candle and sit in some uncomfortable position and be like that for, hours or whatever.
No.
Meditation happens even when you're driving.
yeah, insights come all throughout the day in all different shapes, sizes, forms. Could be walking past somebody on the street. Go ahead. I was going to.
Well, Julia's
her
book, Walking.
Julia
in this,
Cameron.
Julia Cameron, her book, Walking in This World. She talks about.
So how would you define success?
For me, it's not being the biggest or the most popular. It's just being the best. Being the best that you can be. It sounds so simple. And it can be simple. Being your best. That's how I define success. People say to us all the time, "My gosh, you're so successful." And what goes off in my brain first is they think we're multimillionaires, which we're not. And then I let that go because that isn't, I don't think really their intention. I think their intention is success is that we've got a great product, we have it beautifully packaged, we have passion for what we're doing, and we have success because we are living a life in a place of authenticity. And to me that is success.
And you're attracting effortlessly
Absolutely.
a lot of things.
Yes. My